Hey everybody, welcome back to the season finale and another Canje plays in the season finale of Mr. President. So let's go through the final activation and see what's going to happen. We've come a long way in this series and we are at the season finale, so let's get it started. First, we're going to draw a chip from the bag and see what that's going to tell us to do. Russia is going to Act 2. Awesome. So we're going to put that on here and let's see what happens. Okay, so it says this is a special crisis chit that is only added to the crisis cup when Russia moves to posture 2. Go to the Russia action chart in the World Peer Russia action booklet and perform the following 2 actions only. They're going to do a cyber attack, make 2 attacks, and then roll a d10 to select another random action from the remaining list to see what it's going to do. So we grab the Russia Peer Acts booklet, and when we pop it open, we're going to ignore all of this, and we're going to go straight to a cyber attack. So let's see what happens. All right, first things first, we're going to roll a d10, and it is a 9. On a 9, we're going to target the Eastern Europe democracies. So we're going to test a roll, and checking on their cyber sets, it's equal. So a 2 to 7 is a success, and a 1 is crushing success. And we rolled a 5, which is a success, which then said succeeds, add Russia influence in Eastern Europe. We are going to add another Russia there, which is going to push them to 6. Oh, that's not good. That is not good whatsoever. That's going to push their influence to 6 in the world. They're then going to try another one. So we're going to roll a d10 and see what happens. It's a 2. On a 2, they're going to target U.S. political cohesion. And once again, we're going to do a roll and see how well they do. They rolled a 2, which is a success. So decrease relation with Congress box by 1 and bipartisan cooperation by 1. Our relationship with Congress goes down to abysmal, and our bipartisanship, which is already at 0, stays at 0. All right, so we're going to roll and see what they're going to do, which is a 6. They are going to veto UN sanctions. So if there's currently a UN sanctions counter on Iran, North Korea, Russia vetoes renewal of sanctions at the UN. So otherwise, skip this action roll again if there was a random result. Remove any UN sanctions. And there is one. Let's take a look. We've got a UN sanction on North Korea that Russia is going to get rid of. With that completed, we move down. If there was a plus on there, there isn't. So then we move into a possible end of turn. We're going to roll a d10. We're either going to draw or we're going to end the round here. So let's roll a d10 and see what we're doing. We rolled a 1. On a 1, it says end round. So we're going to move straight to the end of round where we're going to start performing end of round cleanup and consequences. Okay, these consequences all sound awful. First, we're going to place any Russia Acts 2 or China Acts 2 crisis chits in the extra actions box if corresponding world peer posture is at 1. So China's still at 1, that's going to stay. Russia's at 2, so we're not going to do that. We will flip over the 4 ally rogue counters here, randomize them, and then put them back in that order, which we'll do that when we get to Season 2 to kind of that setup. Any past bills would move into their past bill section. Then we're going to place a trending anti-US counter on both Russia and China US relation tracks, so both of these are going to go on those tracks. So we're going to put 1 here, relationships there, and 1 here. That's going to set up for Russia. That's set. Then we're going to adjust public priorities by moving counters up the list from box bottom to box top to fill in any blank spaces previously passed legislation. Nothing to really change there. We didn't do a lot this year. We can change or reorder our administrative priorities as we wish. So our administrative priorities, we've got job creation package, privacy legislation, lingering domestic issues. So I think we'll leave those how they are. And then we move into the consequences section. For our consequences, we check regional stability, impact, and security limitation of growth of terror groups. So for each of the 8 world regions, look at the current stability in each region and make the following adjustments to terror groups, unstable states, and rogue states in this region based on their stability rating. So let's start here and we'll just move around on what happens. So we'll start here. So it says, if our stability rating is at a 5 for Central America. So stability rating is 5. Place 2 new level 1 terror groups in their locale. There we go. There's a maximum limit of 4 total terror groups in a region at that stability. No effect on rogue states. Then we come down here. 5 is here as well, so 2 new level 1s come in here. Then we'll start at the top. We're at a 6. So place 1 new level 1 terror group. So they have a maximum of 4, so we'll put a new one up here. And then if there are any rogue states in the region, roll a d10. There is not. Then we'll go to this one, which is a 4, and we'll place 2 new level 1 terror groups in that for a total of 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't go any higher, so we can't add any more to that 4. No effect on rogue states there. Over here, that's a 4. Same thing. We're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. So max 5 that's going on there. We come up here. This is a 5. So we're going to add 2 level 1s there. 2 level 1s. This one's a 5, 2 level 1s. And over here we have, you are at a 5, so 2 more level 1s. Well, we're out of level 1s, so there we go. And no rogue states are doing anything at either of those levels, so that takes care of that. Terrorist recruit planning. In 2 random regions, make two d10 rolls to determine which region, increase level 1 to level 2. If there isn't a level 1 group in that region, add a new one and see how it goes. Then make a Homeland Security check. If you fail, add a level 1 to the continental United States and 1 new terrorism card from the unused terrorism deck. So 1 and 3. So 1 is here. So we would increase a level 1 to level 2. I'm completely out of level 1s. There's terrorism everywhere. I've never run out before. I've usually had a ton. I am out. So I'm going to assume the worst, where it says that if you can't, a 2 becomes a 3. In 1, and then in 3, 3 is going to be Central America. Let's go ahead and put this here for a 2 to 3, just making things worse for ourselves. Then make a Homeland Security check. Oh boy, our Homeland Security is 7, so we need to roll a 7 or lower. We rolled a 5, so we pass. We don't need to deal with it. Rogue state impact and recruiting. Perform in the following order. If there's a rogue state 4 on the board, there is not. For each rogue state 2 and 3, there's 1 rogue state 2 right there. Decrease the region stability by 1 box. So that'll go there. Okay. And then for each rogue state 1 counter on the board, increase regional crisis counters. So boop, boop. I don't want to deal with you. Boop, boop. And yeah, you would hit there where I have to roll a d10. And I rolled an 8. So let's see what an 8 does. Okay, so on an 8, we're going to roll another d10, which is a 1. So the Eurozone gets another level 1. Awesome sauce. And then this will move back down to 2. Okay, all these just crazy reactive things. Unexpected consequences of military footprints. So every place with a military footprint. I don't have any. There was some during the war, but we don't have any anymore. So, oh, yes we do. We got it here and here. +1 to the highest terrorist level. So this is going to become, actually we could do it here. That will become a 3. And then +1 to regional crisis, where we roll, and that's a 3. So let's see what'll happen on the world stage with a 3. Merge 2 level 1s to a level 2. So we only have 1 level 1, so we can't merge them. Cool, cool, cool. Then we take these away to get rid of flip US military. Remove the footprint counters from the board and place them face down in their holding box. Then place new military footprint counters in each region to match. So you get 2 more. And that's it. Okay. US, so Then we do good governments and improving stability for each region that has a regional crisis rating of 0. That is no one. So for any region that has a rating of 1 and 1 unstable counter, nope, the world is pretty much on fire. EU economic stability. During each end of turn segment, the Eurozone SOE may impact Eurozone stability. If it's 6 or higher, increase. If the value is 3 to 4, decrease. An agent of peace. If all the following are true, the U.S. or a U.S. ally is not currently involved in a war. There are 2 or fewer ceasefire civil wars. You have 3 or more UN goods. You have not won the Nobel Peace Prize. Remove the 3 UN goodwill markers and place them on. I don't have any, so we don't worry about that. Changing world opinion of the U.S. Possible improved world opinion. Check the current world opinion of the U.S., then survey the 8 world regions to determine how many have a regional alignment greater than or equal to 6. If the number of regions with 6 plus alignment rating is greater than or equal to the current rule, increase the box by 1. So we're at a 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and that's it. We've got 3. So if it's more, it's not changing. We don't have any trade agreements. If you did not pass legislation for your campaign promise, -2, and party relations drop by 1. Awesome sauce. Cool. And then congressional reaction to your public approval. If your approval rating is now below 40, it is. What's going to happen now? Decrease relations with, so it can't get any lower. Add the New Year deck, so basically we take the Year 2 deck to that and shuffle. Oh boy, cool. And then we would do a presidential performance check on our evaluation of everything added up to see, since this is the sandbox scenario. So it is, we only in the sandbox scenario perform at the end of each turn. Total values of 5 main tracks. Public approval, 38. Relationship with Congress, 40. Relationship with the media, 44. State of the economy, 50. Homeland Security. Oh no, Homeland Security was 50. State of the economy. No, I'm right. Homeland Security is 57. Then subtract 1 for the total for each region with an alignment of 4 or less. So I was at 50, right? 49, 47. So that's 47. Each rogue state counter any level on the board. 46, 45, 44, 43. 43. Then check. Auto victory. Game over. You have won a massive victory. America's reverie. You as the greatest president. If this is the end of turn 2 or later, at the end of turn 1, treat this the same as 30 to 34. So this is the end of 31, which means we gain 2 legacy points, +1 presidential prestige, and 3 public approval. 2, 3. So we didn't win. We just advanced there. And that is the end of turn 1, where we would go to turn 2, clear all this, and start all over. So yeah, we made it through season 1, and we barely made it. I don't know how we could come back from this, but a lot of people have played this game and they've really enjoyed it. I think it's fun. I think this is a really fun game. I would like to see. I think when I played this game with Barrett, who will have his video up soon over, or if he hasn't up by the time you see this video, this VOD, then he'll already have his up. But when I played with him, he's like, it becomes even more fun because we're talking to each other. I think this game works really well 2-player, and it's a solo-based game where you can play. But I think it just, that thought of how do we mitigate this? What would be the best ideas to do it? And just the conversations that we have around this game really make this game good. And this is a good game. There's a lot of moving parts and things that happen, and the flip book really helps guide you through everything. For the end of season 1, I think how I'm feeling is I feel a lot of these books could be simplified. There's a lot of books that kind of leaf through, and there's a lot of information on steps and things to do and take and whatnot. Some of them are pretty straightforward, but some of them get a little bit verbose at times, to where it's trying to explain why it's happening so it thematically makes sense. So like, in these areas here and what's going on and whatnot. But honestly, I do think a lot of this could be condensed down to just kind of a set of tables that you use and then you're done. And a lot of people will probably say, well, that's what it is doing. It is down to a bunch of tables. I think there's more fluff in there as well. I'm not discounting from the game. So let's talk about for season 1 just kind of the pros and cons of this. To me, the pros, it's a really good game. It's set up to work very well. It's very intuitive. It looks like a lot, but when you start playing, everything makes sense. So I love that there's kind of this cabinet focus that you work on, actions that are being had. We're trying to work. I didn't get to do a lot of bill passing, so I don't have a lot of experience with that. And I felt that as soon as I was able to get more people and friends than opponents, I should have been able to take control of Congress or slide this track over more, but this just kind of completely fell apart for me in terms of what was happening. This, in terms of the media just kind of hating us constantly, I don't know why that bugs me, but it does. Anyway, we'll get into that in the negative in a second. The conflict tracks are good. The strategy is good. Watching the missile crisis tracks and mitigating that stuff. The world stage actually makes sense. Every country takes a turn. So I was telling someone about this game, and they were like, "Well, why is it always Russia and the U.S. and China? There's more to the world." And honestly, in this game, they've done a really good job of having all the different regions, all the different parts of the world have their own turn that they can plan. So I think they've done that really well. Overall, I think this is a really fun game. I just would prefer to play a 2-player, just so I can have the conversation. It's a lonely job being president, but president has a cabinet, right? And so having these people who you can talk to, I think 2 players where this game sings. In terms of negatives, this is a lot. It took us 10 episodes to do this, and honestly, the recorded time on this was well over 15 hours to go through. Well over. To just kind of do that, edit, make sure everything's good for the play. The time started getting shorter at about this stage, where the turns started going faster, but there was still a lot of key lookups. A lot of things were happening. I know the first half was learning, and the game does get shorter, but it took a long time. And I think that for people who don't have that kind of time to sit down and play this in a setting or can't leave it set up on their table, it's going to be tough because they're going to have to remember where everything is, take pictures, and then tear it all down and then put it all back together, which is not truly ideal, but it is what it is, right? Other than that, I'm trying to think what else. I don't understand how war works. It's like, okay, well, what are the odds? And then based on the odds, you get something. I don't. This didn't gel for me. This didn't work. I feel like from all the nice things and the things that made sense here, when we got to war, it just didn't gel. It felt like it fell apart. But everything else sang really well. Those crisis deck stuff is rough. There are some good things in there, but there's some things that just kind of ruin a plan. So it's like true RNG with that deck. The dice roll, they gave tons of dice roll mitigation stuff, but if you're a terrible dice roller like me, where I roll 10s constantly, this game's going to be a brutal beatdown on you. So just keep that in mind. I think it's an overall fun game. I think it's a good game to get if you're into huge heavy strategy, and you have the time. This is for you. If you are in the huge heavy strategy and don't have the time but can leave this game set up somewhere, this is for you. I think if those two bullet points aren't there, I don't know if this will win for you because it's a lot to it for you to play, but overall, it's still a fun experience. I still sit with 2 players make this game really work, and I would love to have season 2 with somebody playing with me so we can see how that goes. But we'll try it out and see how it shakes. Well, until then, this is the season finale of season 1 of year 1 of Mr. President. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. I'll be tracking it as it's releasing over time, and any mistakes, I'll make sure to add it in the Klingon subtitles below, and we'll just go from there. Until then, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Bye, everyone.